Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we're going to be taking a look at something really quite evil, and that is this endless cobweb trap. I'm sure you can all get a rough idea of what's going to be going on here, and I just want to say before we even begin that I am not going to be held responsible for any friends that you lose as a result of this trap. It's really quite a cool design, so let's take a closer look at what it's all about. The idea is simple. You have yourself a 2x1 tunnel, a player walks down it, gets pushed off to the side and falls into some cobwebs. Now here is the genius part. When they reach down to the bottom, they'll be pushed across by slime blocks, upwards, and then back around, meaning they'll keep looping round endlessly until they figure out some way to get out. Now obviously I'm not going to do this too much in the video, but what I thought I would do is time-lapse a few of the loops just so you can see how it happens, so let's begin that. Before we begin with the tutorial, I just want to mention a couple of things. If you think you're going to be capturing someone in here forever, then you were sadly going to be a little bit mistaken, because there are ways of getting out of this. First off, if the player on the inside has a sword, they will be able to break down the cobwebs, and that means that the trap will be fairly useless because they won't be caught in anything. Next up, if they don't have a sword, they might be able to break either the pressure plates or the slime blocks, which means they won't be able to make it round the system, and thus the loop will not continue. So if you do want to capture someone endlessly, then this is not the solution, but it is a fairly big annoyance, and anyone that gets caught in here is going to be quite frustrated, and it's going to be quite funny for you. So I'd say it's worth building it just for that reason. In terms of the redstone behind this thing, it is all very simple indeed, using very few circuits and just basic piston mechanics. As you can see, it is fairly big, but it is only 2 blocks wide, which is a bit of a bonus. You shouldn't have any trouble building it yourself, so let's crack straight on and take a look at how to do this thing. So you want to get things started with a 2x8 area. The first thing that we're going to be doing is the floor launchers, but I'll also show you where to build the tunnel so you can get a rough idea of where to build this thing. So you want to go 2 blocks from the edge, place a block up like this, sticky piston facing upwards with 2 slime blocks on its face, and then create a 2x2 area of compressed ice with pressure plates on top of both of those. Then you want to go a couple of blocks along like this, place a sticky piston facing across with 2 slime blocks there, and then immovable objects on top of that and on top of there as well. And for the rest of this build, you can use whatever blocks you like, but I'm going to use obsidian because it's a little bit more evil. So you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks upwards, and that is where your tunnel is going to be going. So you might as well create that now, place the walls and the floor in just like this, and that is where the player is going to be walking. Now, for all of the work on the inside of your tunnel, you want to place a pressure plate right there, go underneath and place 3 blocks going along like this with redstone dust on top of both of those. Now we're going to be placing in our pistons now, so you want to place blocks out like this, and you want to place a sticky piston facing inwards on that side, and a sticky piston facing inwards on this side as well. And what we're going to do now is we're going to run the redstone up to those. You want to place a block there, a block up like this with redstone dust on top of both of those, a half slab here, and another upside down half slab right there with redstone dust on top just like that. Then place blocks going along like this with redstone running all the way across here. Now you want to go a couple of blocks out like this and create a 2x2 area of sticky pistons all facing inwards towards that wall. These are going to be retracting the wall so that the player can fall down into all of the cobwebs. So you want to run this redstone line into a block with a torch on the side of it just like that. Place blocks on top of these with redstone dust on top. Now if we give this system a test, as you can see when we walk on the pressure plate, we fall down right the way to the bottom. It's going to work perfectly. Now to start working on your loop. So you want to go above this compressed ice here, go 2 blocks up like that, and place a wall that is 3 blocks high with 2 half slabs right at the very top. Like I say, you can use whatever blocks you want for this. I'm just going to be using obsidian because it's a little bit more evil. Now you want to place in your cobwebs in between these 2 blocks here. One thing that I will say, in case you were wondering, you can achieve cobwebs in survival using silk touch shears. They're fairly rare, but I'd say it's worth it just for this little trap. Now you want to head down to these pressure plates down at the bottom and place blocks facing outwards like that. Grab some repeaters and run them straight into a line of redstone dust. That is repeater there, and then a repeater right here. They're going to be going into blocks or with the redstone dust like that, and that is going to be going upwards towards this piston here. So as you can see, when we stand on these pressure plates, we get fired across, if I hadn't chucked myself into the cobweb beforehand. Next, you want to head down to your slime blocks in the bottom right, and we're going to create a 6 blocks high wall. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you want to place a block out here, a sticky piston facing across, and then 2 slime blocks on its face. These blocks here have to be immovable, and these blocks up on the top need to be immovable as well, and also these blocks down at the bottom also need to be immovable. The rest of them I don't really worry about. But now we're going to wire up all of these pistons. You want to head below your pressure plates and place blocks going across like this. Redstone dust there, a repeater set to 2 ticks running straight into that sticky piston, and then 3 blocks going along like this with redstone dust on top like that, a repeater set to 4 ticks, and that is going to be going into our redstone torch tower. So I'll start placing in those blocks and redstone torches. They go right the way up like this and straight into this sticky piston here. It will spit out the blocks, just replace those, put those back in place, and that is all of the redstone done. So if we give this a really quick tester, just stand on the pressure plates, will be fired across, upwards, and then back around to land back on the cobweb. So the whole system is working and your trap is fully set up. Now all you have to do is fill in all of these gaps here so that no one can escape. I would suggest making it really dark on the inside so they don't really know what's going on and they won't be able to find their way out. That would be my super evil way of doing things. Of course, this one isn't particularly dangerous because everyone can see what is happening. I'll let you experiment with that and see which works best. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.